Good morning and a very warm welcome. You are watching Janata Television and this is the English Bulletin with me, Sushant Akal. The top stories first. Nepal overtakes China in coronavirus infection. 5-day-old child among 7 killed by the disease. NCP Secretariat meeting becomes uncertain amid coronavirus threat. PM Modi has stopped meeting visitors after aides got infected. Private airlines reduce airfare to lure passengers. Transport entrepreneurs demand equal treatment from the government. California wildfires set new record. Authorities say fire season far from over. And the Premier League champions Liverpool humbled at Villa. Tottenham thrash Manchester United. And now the news in detail. Coronavirus has claimed 7 more lives in the country, including a 5-day-old child. According to the Health Ministry, Makwanpur district reported deaths of the child, while 3 women and 3 men succumbed to the disease elsewhere. With this, the total death toll from coronavirus in the country has climbed to 535. Meanwhile, health authorities yesterday confirmed 2,253 new cases of coronavirus across the country during the latest round of tests. As of today, the total number of infection in the country has reached 86,823, surpassing the infection of China, where the pandemic originated. China has reported a total of 85,450 cases. Till date, 64,069 people have recovered from the disease in Nepal, claimed government officials. The active cases of coronavirus across the country stands at 22,219, which is almost 1,000 cases more than the overnight tally of 21,302. The Secretariat meeting of the ruling Nepal Communist Party became uncertain due to coronavirus. The meeting, which was scheduled for yesterday afternoon, was postponed amid increasing risk of coronavirus infection. The party leaders have not fixed the next date of the meeting. It has been learned that the meeting was cancelled after 4 advisors to the Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli and 67 security personnel tested positive for coronavirus recently. PM Oli has stopped meeting visitors unless there is urgency after members of his secretariat and security personnel were infected by the disease. The secretariat meeting was earlier scheduled for Saturday afternoon, but it was also postponed. The central office of main opposition party, Nepali Congress, has been closed for 5 days. Nepali Congress yesterday released a statement saying the closure of central office for 5 days after office bearers, central committee members and other staffers tested positive for COVID-19. 270 swab samples were tested of party's central committee members and other staffers on October 1st for convening the central committee meeting. 70 party members, including Central Committee members Arjun Narsingh-Kesi, Gagan Thapa, Ramesh Rizal, Arjun Chaurasia, Jangilal Rai and Kalpana Chaudhary tested coronavirus positive on Saturday. Similarly, the reports of some other party staffers are yet to be obtained. The Central Committee meeting scheduled for today has now been postponed for October 11th on Sunday. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. We continue with other national news. Private airlines have been running domestic flights in full capacity after the government permitted operating full-scale flights. On the other hand, public transportation entrepreneurs have also demanded that government allow public vehicles to run in full passenger capacity, citing unfair treatment for air and land transportation service. Private airline companies have reduced the airfare as a strategy to lure more passengers to use air service. This approach has really paid off as internal flights operated by Buddha, Yeti, Agni, Tara and Summit Air can be seen jam-packed with passengers. Buddha Air has been currently operating 29 flights after Civil Aviation Authority of Nepal approved the operation of 19 more flights last Thursday. If the passengers' inflow is high, the airfare might reduce further as per Buddha Air. On the flip side, bus entrepreneurs associated with public transportation service have been agitated, stating private airlines have been on a mission to starve them to death. Bus entrepreneurs have demanded they too shall be allowed to operate bus service in full passenger capacity, eliminating discrimination between air and land transportation service. According to reports, majority of the public in the recent days prefer to travel via flights than buses due to increasing risk of coronavirus infection in bus and microbus and affordable air service. Public transportation entrepreneurs, however, have been struggling to operate service in full passenger capacity similar to domestic flights during the festive season, the peak season of their highest collection. Journalists sacked by different media houses, citing different excuses relating to COVID-19 pandemic, are on hunger strike starting yesterday. More than 300 journalists who have been denied earnings by media houses have joined protest demanding prompt and complete implementation of the Act relating to working journalists. Journalists have taken to the street despite of COVID-19 pandemic for the immediate and complete implementation of the Act relating to working journalists 1994. Protesting journalists have demanded for the reinstatement of sacked journalists. Besides, the troubled journalists have also asked that media houses to provide mandatory and regular salary as set by the government, immediate payment of due salary, and action against media houses that have failed to implement the Act relating to working journalists 1994. Journalists have demonstrated against unlawful steps taken by the media houses ever since the government enforced nationwide lockdown on 24th of March this year to contain the spread of coronavirus. Media houses have been sending journalists on unpaid leave, sacking them, closing the publication, denying regular salary, citing difficulties due to COVID-19. Journalists from 12 different media houses have announced protest program against the malpractices existing in media fraternity. And now the news from the economic front. The Cooperative Department has sent a circular to all cooperatives, cooperative association and cooperative banks not to capitalize interest. The department has warned that any cooperative that reinvests the interest earned by the investors into their capital will be penalized. The Cooperative Act, Section 50, Clause 5 clearly states that any accrued interest cannot be reinvested, whether it is accrued by loans or investments. The same clause further states that the cooperative has to maintain separate accounts for all accrued interest and the principal loan amount. The Cooperative Department has further stated that any deviation from the stated rule will be punishable by the Cooperative Act. Time for a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international news. Welcome back, and now the international news. California set a grim new record on Sunday when officials announced that the wildfires of 2020 have now burnt a record 4 million acres. According to Associated Press, the fire season is far from over. The unprecedented figure, an area larger than the state of Connecticut, is more than double the previous record for the most land burned in a single year in California. So far, in this year's historic fire season, more than 8,200 California wildfires have killed 31 people and charred well over 4 million acres in California, Cal Fire said Sunday in a statement. The blazes have destroyed more than 8,400 buildings. The astonishing figure is more than double the 2018 record of 1.67 million burned acres in California. All large fire years since Cal Fire started recording figures in 1933 have remained well below the 4 million mark until now, the agency said Sunday in a tweet. This year is far from over and fire potential remains high. Tens of thousands of people marched through the center of the Belarusian capital Minsk on Sunday, demanding the authorities to free political prisoners. According to Reuters, the protest prompted police to turn water cannons on them. The march is the latest in a series of rallies in Belarus since an August 9 election in which President Alexander Lukashenko claimed a landslide victory. His opponents say it was rigged to hand him a sixth term in power. More than 100,000 people rallied in Minsk, the opposition news channel Nextra said on the messaging app Telegram. Official estimates are usually lower. Lukashenko is struggling to contain nearly 2 months of street protest that pose the biggest challenge to his 26-year rule. More than 13,000 people have been arrested and some later freed, while major opposition figures have been jailed or exiled. You are watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. Aston Villa defeated Premier League champions Liverpool by 7-2, inflicting only their fourth defeat in 3 years. Villa's record signing Ollie Watkins scored a first-half hat-trick, while Jack Grealish scored 2 goals and assisted 3 for the Villains. Boyhood Evertonian Ross Barkley and John McGinn scored the other 2 goals. For Liverpool, Mohamed Salah scored 2 goals. It is the first time Liverpool have conceded 7 goals since 1963. In other matches, Manchester United were dealt with a 6-1 loss at home to Tottenham Hotspurs. For Spurs, Korean Son Heung-min and Harry Kane scored 2 goals each, as Tanguy Ndombele and Serge Aurier scored the other 2 goals. Manchester United, who were reduced to 10 men in the 28th minute after Anthony Martial was shown a straight red, scored in the 2nd minute through a Bruno Fernandes penalty. Arsenal won their fixture against Sheffield United by 2-1, with goals being scored by Bukayo Saka and Nicolas Pepe, while Wolves defeated Fulham by a solitary Pedro Neto goal. Leicester City's perfect start to the season was ended when West Ham defeated them by 3-0. After yesterday's round of matches, Aston Villa move up to 2nd in the table, while 2 Manchester clubs are on 14th and 16th respectively. Liverpool are on the 5th position, while Spurs climb to 6th, 1 above London rivals Chelsea. The Serie A game between Juventus and Napoli descended into chaos as Napoli failed to turn up after their squad was placed in isolation following coronavirus positive tests, BBC reported. With 2 positive results this week, Napoli say they were ordered not to travel by their local health authority. However, Serie A refused to call the game off. Juventus squad arrived at the stadium an hour before the scheduled kickoff but had no opponents to face. Under Serie A rules, Juventus would be handed a 3-0 win for Sunday's match. The league say Naples' health authority has failed to take into account the health protocol agreed between the country's health and sports ministry and the football authorities. This states that if players test positive, the rest of the squad can still train and play provided their next round of tests yield negative results. Serie A has ruled that matches should go ahead provided each team has a minimum of 13 players available and that teams who cannot play would suffer a forfeit. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin, and the headlines once again. Nepal overtakes China in coronavirus infection, 5-day-old child among 7 killed by the disease. NCP Secretariat meeting becomes uncertain amid coronavirus threat. PM Oli has stopped meeting visitors after his aides got infected. Private airlines reduce airfare to lure passengers. Transport entrepreneurs demand equal treatment from the government. California wildfires set a new record. Authorities say fire season far from over. And Premier League champions Liverpool humbled at Villa, Tottenham thrashed Manchester United. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.